Well, what do we have here? A puny and pathetic mortal. You must see how deadly I am from afar, and yet you aren't running away? How interesting. I can see the fear in your eyes, and yet there's something else beneath the surface. A sort of intrigue, curiosity. Do you, perhaps, find my appearance somewhat appealing? Well, if that isn't something. Now, normally with a creature as weak as yourself, I wouldn't hesitate to simply rip your head off of your body, and yet there's an emotion bubbling up from inside of me. A sort of pity, perhaps, and maybe curiosity of my own. You interest me. You confuse me. And that makes me want to kill you just a little bit less. And you may think my ability to be confused might be a reason to fear me less, but you'd be wrong. For when a creature, both bloodthirsty and intelligent, crosses your path, you may think, well, I could just kill it. And, disregarding my strength, I can easily trick you, emotionally manipulate you into caring for me, and then, just as easily, without a second of hesitation, I can kill you. And just like that, something which otherwise you wouldn't have thought twice about taking the life away of becomes something that you care for, something that inexplicably you feel some sort of hesitation towards murdering. Because you see me both as a monster and somewhat as a human. Isn't that something? Well, regardless, as I said, I somewhat pity you, pathetic as you might be. When I see a creature like you, my monstrous side somewhat fades, and my maternal instincts kick in. For sure, I may be a vampire, but I am also a mother. A mother who loves her children very much. A mother who loves to care for the weak and make them strong. And so you, a weak little creature that I could easily squish under my boot, well, with that look you give me, it reminds me of a child that I could indeed take care of myself. And so, with that in mind, I shall propose to you a deal. Provided that you understand that I'm to be respected, feared, and loved in equal parts, that I have strict rules that must be followed. When broken, there will be no sympathy. You will be reprimanded harshly. With all that in mind, would you like to join my family? I can grant you eternal life, strength beyond your comprehension, the ability to be better than everyone else. How does that sound to you? Not sure, are you? Well, I suppose you probably have your hesitations about this as well. You think that turning into a monster means you're abandoning your humanity somewhat. But that just isn't true. It simply gives you a new set of eyes to see the world through. and you can understand how to control your humanity instead of letting it control you. On top of that, if you refuse, then, well, all my goodwill towards you will fall through, and my initial instinct, of tearing you limb from limb, will come back, and we will again be enemies. You will either be forced to take my life, which I can see you don't exactly want to do, or, instead, I shall take your life. The most likely outcome, if you think about it. And, to be honest, I'm not so thrilled about destroying a creature as small as yourself. It's like killing a baby rabbit. Simple, and yet it hurts. I've had many, many times your lifetime on this earth, and to see someone as fresh as you, with eyes so full of curiosity, just snuffed out like a candlelight. I may be a monster, but that brings me no joy. I'll allow you to think about it, of course. I understand that you must have some things to consider, pros and cons. Just think about what you'd prefer. The malice of a creature you cannot comprehend the full strength of, or the protection of that very same being that otherwise could kill you in less than a heartbeat. It's your call, of course, if you truly think you stand a chance against me, and that killing me would be more beneficial in the long term than joining me. Of course, then you can refuse my offer. But if that intrigue in your eyes is what I suspect, then you might have more to gain by living by my side. That's such the interesting thing about mortals. They cling to their short lifespans, lack of strength, as if it's somehow a perk of being human, and not the downside of it. They see themselves as underdogs, the David to my Goliath. It's silly, truly. I may not understand that, but I do wish to. Curious about my rules, are you? Well, of course I'd be happy to elaborate. I'd expect that's a vital part of your decision-making. Let's see. So, as my daughters know well, what I say absolutely goes. You cannot disobey my orders, or else you will face the punishment. You must treat your family as if they are your blood, and not simply allies. You are not on the same team. You are different limbs of a single being. If one of you is lost, the others are in great peril. And that includes me, of course. Imagine that you are my limbs, and I am the head. Do you understand what I'm saying? Of course, you need to protect your limbs, but the head is the most vital part. I am to come before even yourself. Is that clear? My other rules are to, of course, consult me before doing things. I need to be in the loop, for I don't quite like having my plans thwarted by someone I myself respect. And sometimes my plans are my business only. So I do need to be aware of what you're doing before you do it. And that leads me into my next rule. You do not have any right to demand answers of me. I will keep secrets to myself. And that is my right. As a mother, I know what's best, and sometimes the truth must be saved for later. However, you, as my child, may not withhold information from me, especially if it could cause me harm. Is that understood as well? Those are my vital rules. They're pretty reasonable, I'd think. Maybe you need a bit more information about what benefits I would be giving you. Well, allow me to elaborate. As you know, I am strong beyond any mortal's comprehension. Having me on your side is undoubtedly an advantage. However, I am also loving and caring to an extent that I doubt you could understand. I have the emotional fullness of a creature that has lived on this planet for hundreds of years and has grown to love every aspect of it, and equally understand that it is not all good, and that there is lots to fear, and to hate, and to extinguish the life from. And so, to experience my love, a creature more caring, more emotional than any mortal, well, it is quite the gift. There are many things that I do for you that I imagine you'd appreciate. Of course, your needs are incredibly important to me. Whatever it is you desire, bring to me at once, and I will do my best to fulfill it. For as a mother, nothing brings me more joy than the joy of my children. The love that I feel from you will be equally matched, if not exceeded, by my own. Never, for the rest of time, will you be alone. You will always have someone by your side who cares about you unconditionally, who understands you to an extent you likely don't even understand yourself. And of course, you'll have your sisters. Your sisters will care about you as well. They'll protect you, and you'll protect them. There is nothing quite so fulfilling as a relationship such as that. But it's only something that you'll understand truly once you join us. And so, I must ask you, have you come to a decision? Would you like to stay by my side, join my daughters, and work with me, following my rules, and receiving my love and protection? Or are we fated to be enemies, to destroy one another? Do tell me,